Hello and welcome to a brand new season of Orange County football. This is 2016 Week 0. I am your host, Jonathan Khamis with the Orange County Register. To my right, Dan Albano. To my left, Steve Fryer. Guys, are you ready for some football?
We've been waiting all year for it, Jonathan. We're ready.
Ready to go, man. Let's go.
I am as well. And I think the Diablos are behind us. We're here at Mission Viejo, and they're in our game of the week, guys. They're going to be at Santa Margarita, or are they hosting this year?
This game is at Mission Viejo High School.
This game's at Mission Viejo, at this beautiful new field where they have brand new turf, just first class all the way here at Mission Viejo. Dan, you remember the last time these two teams met? It's been a while.
2011, Division One or Pac-5. It was Pac-5 back then. Semifinals won by Santa Margarita, 21-20. Last fourth quarter drive by Johnny Stanton, 70 yards, 12 plays, a buck and change, dives over the pile, 1 yard run, 21-20. They won the state title that year. These guys won the state title last year.
All right, Steve. Well, what about this year? Mission Viejo, highly ranked in our top 25 this year. Santa Margarita, also highly ranked. Man, I just think this is going to be a heck of a game.
You know, I love the fact that these two teams are playing each other in opening week. It's got so many cool storylines to it. You know, you got two great programs, South County. They sort of compete for players, as we say. You know, people are making decisions where they want to go to school. And, you know, it's got the public school versus private school little angle to it, which is always a little juicy, a little fun. They got two really good teams. We got Mission Viejo number 2 in our preseason top 25, Santa Margarita number 4. So two really good teams. Dan, you mentioned the state championship last year. They got a lot of players to replace over there at Mission Viejo. Started with the quarterback, Brock Johnson, last year's Offensive Player of the Year. They got Mac McDonald coming in. Played a little bit at Mater Dei last year, very little bit because he got hurt in that first game. JT Daniels, the freshman last year, took over. Matt never saw the field again. So now he's over here at Mission Viejo for his senior year, and he's looking to have a great one.
Mission Viejo at 28 game. That's a 28-game win streak. They're heading into their first game of the season against Santa Margarita. We caught up with the Diablos earlier. Here's what they had to say.
Certainly Brock was our biggest leader in a long time. So he'll be missed, but you know, I've told this team, any of those players that you know they knew and they looked up to, let's go.
I think it's going to be a really good test for us. You know, we're going to come out and play a hard physical team, and it's really going to show, you know, everyone what we're about as a team this year.
It's going to be kind of like a big rivalry game. I can't wait for it to happen. It's going to be a very competitive game.
Well, we also have our childhood friends that play over there, guys that we kind of talk trash to each other jokingly, but that's going to be fun playing them. And also to have the competition around, because people say we don't play tough teams, but it's going to be nice to play a tough team who they also play tough teams, so we can compare how we do against them to everybody in the county.
Our thanks to the Diablos for hosting us here on the Gridiron Show. Dan, before we get to our next preview, our next game that we will preview, what do you have to say about that big-time matchup, our game of the week?
You know, it's an interesting game for Santa Margarita as well, where, you know, Richard Wagner is going to be trying to replace KJ Costello. I think Wagner is going to be the starting quarterback. You know, the Fisher era starts at Santa Margarita. The reports have been good that the guys have been buying in. Coach Fisher's happy where they're at. Got a great offensive line. Brett Nealon. Two defensive ends I'm interested to see play. Mace Funa and Malik McLean. A couple of out-of-state transfers. So, you know, kind of a new look for Santa Margarita. So I think it's going to be a very telling game, but a tough opener for Coach Fisher.
Yeah, it's going to be good. All right, Los Alamitos, they are playing Long Beach Poly. This game will be at Cerritos College Friday night. Another really good game here. Steve, your thoughts?
Well, we got a new coach at Los Alamitos. First time in a long time since John Barnes was there forever and ever and ever. And he finally resigned, rode off from the sunset a little bit, and Ray Fenton goes over there from Fountain Valley. Ray Fenton, of course, made his money, so to say, at Cypress High School. We really turned the program around. Going to try and keep the Los Al thing going. Pretty interesting opener for Los Al. You know, we used to always kind of rib them a little bit for playing a soft schedule. That's not happening this year if you're opening Long Beach Poly. Long Beach Poly's record's a little deceptive. I think they finished at 4-6, but there's some forfeits in there. If you look at some state rankings, some Southern California rankings, you see Long Beach Poly is pretty highly ranked up there. Definitely a lot of people SoCal top 10. So that's a pretty good challenge for Los Al and Coach Fenton.
I checked out Los Alamitos in the preseason. I liked what I saw. They're bringing it. Coach Fenton's bringing a new attitude to this team. And Dan, you started the OCVarsity Hot 150 this year, and I know the Griffins are all over it.
Yeah, the guys, I like their defensive front probably the best. They have a potential to have a really good front seven. And guys like Joey Noble is a big defensive lineman, defensive end. And then they got these really good inside linebackers, Isaiah Johnson and Drew Platt. They kind of move these guys inside. So the makings, they still got a Bosco transfer that they're waiting for. He's going to do the sit-out period. But the makings of a good defensive front. But then, this is a big game for their new quarterbacks, and be Hayden Smith, first-year starter, trying to replace Jack Talenko.
All right, another game, gentlemen. Dan, you're going to be covering this one. El Toro, La Habra, a rematch of last season, 2015. La Habra went up to El Toro and really beat them pretty good. Do you think the same thing is going down this year? I know La Habra loses their starting quarterback in Barrier, but, man, I saw them in the preseason, and they are looking good, too. You were there with me, Dan.
Hey, all I can say is cue the Hail Mary passes right now, Jonathan. Eric Barrier, he's gone. He's at Eastern Washington. But yeah, so the guys that they're looking to replace, Zach Fogel, Joe Hernandez are kind of they had about 4 guys that are looking at playing the quarterback at La Habra. Those are kind of the 2 front runners. We'll probably see multiple guys out there. I wouldn't be surprised. But La Habra, I think it's going to be, they're a physical team and they know how to win. So you got to look at their linebackers, Rivas, and their safety Wheeler. Up the middle, they're very strong. So it's a tough opener. El Toro, they lost their quarterback. DeWitt Wilson transferred out. But they really like Cooper Jones as a guy to watch, junior. Remember that name.
Steve, what you got?
Well, El Toro's, they're going to change it up a little bit too, and I think they might have been running the ball more even before Wilson departed and moved out. All-league quarterback last year, pretty good basketball player too. They got a kid named Blevins, who's a little guy, 175, 5'9" guy, little quick, little back. They're going to run the ball a lot this year. I think El Toro, they think their best part of their offense is that offensive line. So you're going to see them probably move to keep the ball on the ground quite a bit more than we've used to seeing that happen.
All right, that'll do it for our first OCVarsity Gridiron of the new year. Thanks to Mission Viejo for hosting us once again. Steve Fryer to my left, Dan Albano to my right. We're going to be all over it Friday night and this whole weekend covering high school sports like nobody else. For all your latest updates, check out OCVarsity.com, where we've got you covered.